Hi, I'm Peter Mallouk. Welcome to 1,000 Miles from Wall Street. I'm here with Annie Rogers from our estate planning group. Thanks for being here, Annie.
Thanks, Peter.
And I know a big part of your job is to help people avoid the probate court system. What is the probate court system?
Well, probate is the default way of people. The default way people can retitle assets and make sure creditors get paid when they pass away. So even if you don't have a will, that's the process where your heirs can receive any benefits that you or assets that you leave behind.
Why do people? Why do they? You always hear you want to avoid probate. You want to avoid probate. What's so bad about probate?
Well, probate in every state takes some time. There is a statutory period where you have to. Well, first you file a petition with the court, and you have you list the assets that may need to be retitled. Then there's a statutory period where you have to leave that open for creditors to make claims. We all, when all of us pass away, we have like loose ends to tie up. So we may have a credit card bill or medical bills that we owed, things like that. So creditors get paid back, and then before any of your heirs can receive the assets, those things get taken care of, and then those would be distributed. But, at a minimum, it usually takes 9 months to a year. So it's kind of a expensive and frustrating process for our beneficiaries.
It takes a long time, it's expensive, and it's public. And so
Correct,
those are pretty negative things for survivors who are already going through the worst time of their life. So what are some of the ways that people can avoid that? A lot of people don't realize that's optional. You can avoid it. What are some of the ways people can avoid probate?
Well, the first would be owning assets as jointly. So there are different ways you can do that. One is joint tenants with the right of survivorship. So basically, it's a last man standing. If somebody passes away, the other person owns the entire asset. So that would be like on a bank account or on the deed for a home or on a car title.
Right. How a lot of married couples own their assets.
Yes. The problem is when the second spouse passes away, and then if they don't have an estate plan in place, then that would also go through probate again.
Yeah, people think you avoid probate, you really just delay it.
Correct. Right? Yep. Correct. The second would be listing a beneficiary on an asset. So on your IRA or an investment account or a bank account, you could list a payable on death beneficiary. Then you've designated who would get those assets after you pass away.
Right. And some of the issues with that I know you help people navigate are often there won't be a lot of contingency planning, or if your child is a minor, like yours and mine are, you don't want them to get an investment account, or they can't, and you wind up in probate anyway.
Correct, yeah. So minors would need someone to serve as a conservator or a custodian of those accounts. Also, what people don't think about is people name a beneficiary, and then if something happens and that person passes away, oftentimes people forget to update those, so then it would go through probate again. Or if you have 3 kids and one passes away but you have grandchildren, the grandchildren of the child who passed away are going to essentially be disinherited because they don't go track down heirs. Right. So that's also a negative of that.
So you've broken down kind of the inexpensive ways to do it, and they have their downsides. Walk us through a trust, how it works.
Correct. So a trust is basically is an entity that outlives you. So if you think of it as a bucket that holds your assets, while you're living, you still own and control the assets because you're the grantor of the trust and the trustee. This is a revocable living trust. But after you pass away, that entity goes on. And so in your trust document, you've kind of dictated what you want to happen after you're deceased. And then the trustee would administer the trust and distribute those assets outside of probate to those people and pursuant to those terms.
And so now we've avoided probate. We don't have to worry about contingency planning, and no delays, or certainly not significant delays. The cost is much, much less, and you've got some privacy as well.
I always tell people it's a little bit more expensive on the front end to create a trust, but it's a whole lot cheaper on the back end than the probate process. And you have some peace of mind that things are going to happen the way you want them to.
Oh, wonderful. That's perfect note to end on. Thanks, Annie.
Right, no problem.
This commentary is provided for general information purposes only and should not be construed as investment, tax, or legal advice. Past performance of any market results is no assurance of future performance. The information contained herein has been obtained from sources deemed to be reliable but is not guaranteed.